Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. So today what I'd like to talk about is the growing gap, if you like, between how fast sale prices are increasing in relation to rent increases in the market. So in the last year in my office in Glenfield, we've noticed around this area an increase in price of around 20%, from 440,000 as a median sale price up to 538,000. Quite a jump, and that's been well publicised in the media. But on the other side, the rent increases have actually only increased from, across Auckland, the Buff and Thompson rents have increased from $434 to $460, which is only a 6% increase. So my question is, how much more can prices increase if the rent returns don't increase? So why would investors still be willing to get into the market? Well, at the moment I think that they're going for the capital gain, so they're willing to take less of a return on their rent in order to speculate that the market will continue to grow, which gives them some good capital gains. But how long can it continue for? Because if that gap continues to grow, then people may see that their money is actually better off in the bank than buying an investment property, especially once interest rates rise, currently at around that sort of 5.5% mark, and yields sort of around the 4 to 5% mark. So that'll be an interesting thing to look out for, and that's really why I'm addressing it, because of course if investors decide that the return's really not there, then they'll sell their properties, which will increase supply, or at the same time they'll actually stop buying more, which will reduce demand. So there could be a little evening out in the property market that is potentially to come, but you know, we'll see, because they may still just look to speculate and look for those capital gains. So what might be causing this, other than the speculation? It is a supply and demand issue, of course. So possibly there's an increased supply of rental properties on the market, which means that the rents aren't increasing quite so much, but also maybe the demand's dropped off for rentals. So how would that have happened? So if investors are buying and are in the market, which there is evidence that suggests that from a BNZ REINZ report, which shows there are more investors around and buying, and certainly I've seen properties that have sold which the next day have had 4 rent signs put up outside them. So there are more available, but from a demand perspective, one could say that first home buyers are out there as well and buying, which takes prospective tenants out of the rental market. However, if a first home buyer buys a property, that's one less than an investor buys, and an investor buys a property, that's one less than the first home buyer buys. So that argument actually doesn't hold true, because they're actually competing with each other. However, I was talking last week with a woman from our city office who specialises in apartments, and she has noticed, and when she mentioned it I realised myself that I've seen this at open homes, she's noticed a big increase in the number of first home buyers buying apartments and then letting out the rooms. Now it got me thinking, because what that does is it takes renters out of the rent market, because they're sharing houses effectively. So with the increase in sale price, a lot of first home buyers, or buyers at the lower end of the level of the market, aren't actually able to afford to buy a house outright, so they're renting rooms. And I had 2 people through my open home last weekend which said the same thing. A young guy is looking to rent rooms out to friends, and a girl whose mum's helping her buy a house and also rent the rooms. So for them actually big bedrooms was very important. So there's sort of different type of buyer that you have to deal with there, which is important to understand as well. So where does that leave us? Well, are investors going to keep buying? Is the demand going to stay there for rentals? I've certainly heard stories of people having to drop rents to get their properties rented. I've heard that vacancy rates are higher, and that the properties are on the market longer without renting. So yeah, it'll be one to monitor. I'm very interested to hear any more anecdotal evidence that anyone's got. Certainly I've heard a reasonable amount, and I've spoken to a few property managers, and that certainly seems to be the way it is. So thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next one.